Hey there, Abiding fam! Welcome back to my channel, or hello if you're new. I'm so glad you decided to check out our Abiding family here, and hopefully after watching this video you'll want to join the family by hitting that subscribe button. My name is Kelsey Lee, and here on my channel I create a lot of different videos, mostly surrounding the art of journaling, because one of my primary goals is to help people like you learn how to journal and just gain some inspiration for making your memories abiding. That is the whole reason behind my channel name, Abiding Kelsey Lee, is I really believe that abiding, the whole word basically means to endure. It is to make your memories last forever. And that is exactly the point of journaling. So if you have been with me for a while, then you know that in 2018 I committed to making every memory abiding by journaling every single day in the year so that I would have 365 entries by the end of 2018. And this giant brick of a journal is the result of that. Now, slowly but surely, I have been releasing flip-throughs of all of the spreads within this journal, and so far I have shared with you every month up through June, and today we are going to do a flip-through of July, which also happens to be one of my all-time favorite months of 2018 for a very good reason you'll find out in a little bit. So if you want to gain some inspiration for how you can make your memories abiding through the art of creative journaling, then definitely stay tuned for the rest of the video. We're going to get very chatty, so make sure you're somewhere comfy and maybe have a cup of tea by your side. But really quick before we get too deep into the trenches of my journal, because trust me, I can spend a lot of time there, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, Skillshare. So if you watched my April bullet journal setup video, then you have already heard me talk a little bit about Skillshare and how I've really been enjoying using their platform. For those of you who aren't aware, Skillshare is an online learning community for people like us, for creators. Essentially, the idea behind it is rather than go to a college or have to pay loads of money for an online course, you can get access to any course in any form of art you can imagine for one monthly price, and it's a very low price at that. But for you guys, the first 500 of you who are interested in checking out some of these classes that they offer over on Skillshare, you will get it free for the first 2 months so that you can try it out before you put any money out there. You're obviously watching this video because you are interested in creative journaling and learning how to use art in a journal format, maybe to illustrate your memories, or maybe learning how to incorporate watercolors or stencils, or just how memories can be turned into an art form. And there are lots of courses available on Skillshare that are aimed to do exactly that. Really, the opportunities for learning new forms of art are limitless over on Skillshare, so I really recommend you check it out. The link is down below for you, so you can get those first 2 months for free. And now let's get into my journal so you can see how some of those techniques that I had to learn through trial and error, because I didn't have Skillshare when I was learning how to journal, how I incorporate a lot of those into my journal. So let's go tabletop and I'll meet you over there. Alright fam, so thanks so much for joining me here at my desk. I'm really excited to get into my journal here with you guys. These are honestly some of my favorite videos to record because I love just getting to sit down and chat with you guys. And it's kind of selfish too, because I love getting to have an excuse to sit down and look through my journal and reflect on some of the best days of my life. And we are doing July today, which means we are doing truly some of the best days of my life, since this, if you, well, you know what, I'm not gonna say it. Comment down below if you know what happened in July that makes it especially special. So if you've been with my channel, then you know, and if you haven't, then you're gonna find out. So I am going to jump right over to my July entries, and I'm going to take this out of here too so that you guys can see it a little bit better so it'll lay flat. Okay, so if you saw my last journal flip through, in which I flipped through June, you know that I ended on a backpacking trip. So these were the last 2 spreads of that month. And so that backpacking trip actually bled into July. So July 1st was the final day of that backpacking trip. And so that is where we're going to be starting this flip through over here. And it has one of my favorite little features, which is this fun waterfall card. And this is basically just a super elaborate tip-in, and I show you exactly how to make this waterfall card in a tutorial here on my channel that you can go and check out. And then I also have a video in which I set up this journal with me and talk a little bit more about the card system as well. So it's just a really great way to tip in a lot of extra photos and ephemera if you're trying to keep an entry onto a single page but have a lot that you want to include. This is just a really fun way to do that. It does add a little bit of bulk, obviously, to your journal because you're adding in those extra pages, but it really isn't that bad. So if I close this, you know, it's not that big of a deal. And you guys know I love tip-ins everywhere, and this particular insert isn't that crazy big, so I don't think it's too bad. But yeah, I love the way that turned out. And then it also means that the rest of the entry is super simple, just journaling with that on there. And these make a really cute little gift idea as well. You don't have to use it as a tip-in in your journal. You could just use it as a little photo book as well. So that is the first entry of July. Then we move into the second and third, which are very simple entries in which it's really just doodles using some glitter pen and then washi. And this is actually over on my Patreon as an exclusive journal with me for my patrons. And anytime you join Patreon, you get access to everything on Patreon that's available for your tier that's ever been posted. So every journal with me and exclusive video that's already on Patreon, you get access to when you pledge and join in whatever month you choose to join. And it's just a really great way to support my channel. I really appreciate all of my patrons for their support. I will just say as a quick tidbit here that is really only applicable if you're watching this video when it comes out. I am going to not be doing Patreon for the next 3 months because of my wedding and my new marriage and everything that is involved in that. I just am simply not going to have time to put out the content on there and YouTube, and so obviously need to keep YouTube as my focus. So just be aware that I am not going to be posting things over the next 3 months. I am going to keep it up though. If anybody wants to join just to support my channel and wants access to all of those things already on there, you can do that. And then I'll be back hopefully with some new tiers and rewards and lots of fun things when that period is over and I feel that I am settled enough in my new season of life to develop that routine again. But anyways, that's neither here nor there, but I just wanted to say it so that I don't have everybody join Patreon from me saying that and then you guys are like, hey, you said to join Patreon and now you're not doing it for 3 months. So putting that out there now. Anyhow, so over here, this journal page is one that I have a journal with me here on my channel for, so you can watch that to learn more about this day and how I put together this spread. These little ephemera pieces down here are actually pieces and elements from my printables over on Patreon as well. So I have printables there and the exclusive videos, lots of other content as well. So now we get into the 5th and 6th, which I won't talk about too much because I do also have a journal with me for this one. But this one, I just have to say, there is something about this aesthetic that just works and I really enjoy looking at. It's very pleasing to my eye. I don't know what it is. This was one of those spreads where I feel like I was just plopping things down and just making it very fast, but it turned out really well. Over here, this one is also a Patreon exclusive journal with me, and so I had fun talking with them. And what was great about this journal with me, and is true of a lot of the journal with me's over on my Patreon, is that it's a chatty journal with me in real time. So I don't fast forward and do a voiceover, I just journal and talk and kind of walk through the process. as I'm doing it, so it feels a little bit like a live stream, except you're not able to participate by adding comments and that sort of thing. So if you like that style of journal with me, there are quite a few of that kind over on Patreon. But yeah, that was a really fun one to do together with my patrons. This one is when I got into going to the Dominican Republic, so this is obviously the flight because I have the little airline thing here. And now I'm on my trip with my mom in the Dominican Republic, and we went there on just a little girls' vacation to enjoy some sunshine together, and we love traveling together. And this page, I did this illustration of a little daybed because that is where we spent most of our time, was on the little daybeds on the beach. If you watch my travel vlog for the Dominican Republic, which is available here on my channel as well, if that's something you enjoy watching, you will notice a lot of time spent on a daybed reading and drawing and painting. So I actually painted this little illustration here. You can watch me paint this in that video, which is cool. And so these were fun elements to tip in. I just used a journaling card to put some photos on here. And then on the back of my painting, I did some hand lettering of a few of our favorite drinks to use up that space. This page for the 9th and 10th is very simple, but I really like the look of it, and I think it's nice because it helps to balance out all of the busyness of the tip-ins and this page. So this is just straight writing, and then, you know, I just did some hand lettering with a gel mushed glitter pen, and I also put in a few stickers, another little printable, and that is a very simple, easy page that really anybody can do. Here is another day in the Dominican Republic, and this page is one that I have a journal with me for as well, so I won't talk too much about it, but this was a really fun one to do with you guys because I did this waterfall in the background, which I did with watercolors, and they're metallic watercolors, so I love the way it kind of has a reflective gleam like water would, and so just those little touches add something really unique and fun. So really enjoy that page, and you can learn more about it, of course, by watching the journal with me. Here we get into the last day of our time away, and so we actually went to the spa this day and got facials, and I have my little cheese platter that I took a photo of from the flight, and then of course put in my ticket here. And this, guys, I just have to say that this is one of my favorite things when journaling, is to pull in real elements from those memories. So whether that's a ticket from a flight, or a napkin from the restaurant that you went to, or even the coaster that you put your drink in. I actually just did an entry recently, which I'll give you a sneak peek of here, in which we went out to dinner, and this right here is actually a coaster from the restaurant that I just tipped in here. So those little things you don't realize make such a cool statement in your journal, because it really brings you back. It gives you something tangible to bring you back to that original memory. And so I just can't recommend thinking as you're going through your day, especially when you're in a day or a time like a vacation, when you know that you're making some really special memories and are having moments that you know you're going to want to cherish forever and to record later in your journal. Be thinking about little things throughout your day that you can keep and then stick in your journal. So this tickets are a great example of that. Like I said, napkins, coasters, pamphlets, maps, anything like that, hold on to. Find a little folder or stick them in your wallet and just keep them for later, because they really are what brings a journal to life and those memories to life. So over here we are back in the US, and this is a very, very simple page in which I just used a huge sticker to take up a lot of room, and then did my journaling here in a little box that I drew. Another little sticker, little stickers here, and my number stencil, which I love so much. And I do talk about the number stencil well, let's be honest, I talk about the number stencil in almost every video I create, but specifically, I talk about it in my favorite supplies no one ever talks about video. Some people, I'm sure, have mentioned the supplies I mention in that video, but if you're looking for journal supplies that maybe you haven't heard of before and aren't the ones that every single person talks about in this community, then definitely check out that video. Alright guys, so here we are getting into my all-time favorite spreads from July, because these are my all-time favorite memories. So here is a beautiful day that we went kayaking, and I have a whole journal with me for this spread in which I talk about that day and just reminisce with you guys. So I won't talk about it now, but I'll just give you a quick little show of what that entry looks like, and you can see it be created in that journal with me. And then over here, if you can guess from the You Are the One, and the date, if you are familiar with my channel and have been following along in my personal life, this is the day that Ben proposed, and so we became the soon-to-be, we're not yet, but soon-to-be Mr. and Mrs. So this page was just one that was so special to me and just makes me smile to look back on every time. So thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to look back through my journal and reflect with you. So here I have a big print of the photo of Ben on his knee proposing to me. So if you're interested in seeing the actual proposal, I do have a whole video of the proposal, because Ben was very smart and kind enough to have a friend set up a GoPro so that we had those special moments recorded. So if you're interested, that is here on my channel. And then in here, in this little envelope, is where I typed up all of the details and memories from that day, because I just knew that if I waited until the moment that I actually was ready to sit down and journal about this day and had the photos and everything, I was going to forget. So the day after he proposed, I sat down and I typed up all of the memories, everything I could think about regarding the details of that day, and I wrote them down. And I decided, rather than do it by hand, that I would just print it out onto a cute little paper, so it's about the size of my hand, and I would fold it up and stick it in a little envelope so that I could have those memories fully in their entire detail in here for me to reflect on. So that is that page for the entry. And then, because obviously this is like the biggest day of my life leading up to my wedding day and anything other important things that might follow in life, but one of the biggest milestones of my life thus far, I could not just keep that to one page. So then we get into my actual entry for the proposal day, and this one too is here on my channel, and I talk about the proposal and how it happened and just give you all of the fun little details in my voiceover. So if you want to learn more and just enjoy that kind of stuff like I do, I could watch proposal videos and wedding videos until the cows came home. I love that kind of stuff. So if you're interested in that, you can check out this journal with me and listen to me talk about the proposal day. And this page, what I love about it is it does look like a lot, but every little piece of this entry means so much to me. And that's the thing I love about journaling, is you might look at this page and just be like, oh, that's cute, some photos and a few pieces of memorabilia. But in my mind, I'm looking at this and saying, oh my gosh, this right here, this ribbon is the ribbon that he had around the ring box. And this little sticker here is the sticker that held together the information about the ring, because that is the ring maker's logo. And I picked this card specifically because this is exactly how I felt. I felt completely and perfectly and incandescently happy. And these flowers are the pressed flowers from the bouquet on the table of the dinner that he had his parents and my parents prepare for us so that we could all enjoy a meal together as a complete family. And this here is the little note that he had in the message in a bottle. If you watch the proposal, this is exactly what he had written in there, and then the piece that he pulled out of his pocket is this one here that says, "Will you marry me?" And the reason that I picked this card, So Very Blessed with the Fireflies, is because after he proposed, we drove to a view overlooking a local lake, and it was dusk and there were fireflies all around in the grass, and we just sat and prayed together for the first time as an engaged couple. And so all of that, all of those little pieces, it's amazing how just in picking the right piece of ephemera or keeping the right memento like this ribbon can just have so much meaning and value behind it. And somebody else, like I said, might look at this and just say, oh, there's some pretty papers and some photos. But I look at this and I just see every little moment of that day and just such perfect little memories tucked within those tiny details that all mean so much when put together. So if this is any indication of the point of journaling and what journaling should be and can be, this page is it. It really is. So anyways, I said a lot about this. There is a whole journal with me available on this, so you can watch that as well, but I just wanted to get that out there regarding why I love to journal. So here, not my favorite spreads. This is much more simple, so I just have a few bullet points basically, and obviously the photos as well. And I used this really cool stencil thing from Creative Memory Keepers to write out these like highlights of the day in the big font. And this, I believe, is over on Patreon as well. So then over here, I just have a journaling card that I did my journaling on for the 18th with 2 photos related to that day. Did a little stamp here, and then on this day, I just used some stickers and then wrote the date as well. So not my favorite pages, but the memories are down and recorded, and I still really enjoy just looking back at what I wrote about those days and reflecting on the memories associated with them, even if the art itself isn't just stunningly beautiful. So that's just something to remember as well, that when you're daily journaling, not every single entry is going to be breathtakingly beautiful. It's okay. And I actually have a whole video about how to daily journal, and I talk a lot about just giving yourself grace through the process in that video too. So if you're interested in daily journaling like I do here, then I definitely recommend checking that out if you haven't already. Here we have the 20th, which is Talk About Simple. This is literally just a sticker that I did my journaling on, 2 photos, a piece of washi with the week on it, and then my number stencil to write the day of the week. So super easy. This is divided into 2 different days, so then this one here is the 21st, and I just did a tip-in of a journaling card, and on the back of that card I have a little ticket from the National Civil War Museum that Ben and I went to, a little photo of Abraham Lincoln in his portrait, and a quote from Abraham Lincoln that I hand-lettered there with my journaling underneath. So those are very simple. And then over here I really like this page in just using this pretty journaling card just as background. There's nothing about this journaling card that relates to the page, but it's pretty and it just adds a nice pop to the entry. This one is an example of a very simple layout where I just had a few big pieces related to what happened in the day and a photo, and then I just have 3 days on this one page, and I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and literally just tiny little blocks for each of those days with a few lines just to recap what happened on each of those days. Over here, this entry is one of my favorites from the month. I love how bright and cheerful it is and all the cute little fox details. It's so cute, and there is a tiny little fox in this photograph that we saw on a little walk that I did with one of my friends, and so that was the inspiration for this very fox themed spread because it was the first fox I'd ever seen in the wild, which is kind of ridiculous because I know Ben has seen them all the time. I don't know if I'm sheltered or what, but anyhow, I really love the way that this turned out, and you can see the whole process for this video over on Patreon, as well as an exclusive journal with me. This one here is also actually the 27th and 28th are both exclusive journal with me's on Patreon as well. Apparently July was the month for Patreon exclusives in terms of the videos that I ended up using over there, so if you're interested in seeing this page come to life and me talk about it, you can go over to Patreon and check that out. Just goes to show that there really is a ton of content over there if you're looking for a little bit more inspiration. Here I did some stamping with "Let's take a walk" written in there because we went on a little hike. And so yeah, just loving the tip-ins. Always a fun element to include. I really like when a journal's interactive and has elements that you can tangibly play with. So then here is getting towards the last days. So this is the 29th, and this was all about finding our venue, which is actually a Christmas tree farm for our wedding. And so I just talked about that day and obviously drew a lot of little Christmas trees all over the page. Also a Patreon exclusive journal with me if you're interested in seeing it come to life. And then this here is half July and half August, so we'll talk a little bit more about this next time in our next flip through. But these two spreads, I will just say, this is a great example of how journaling does not always need to be complex or a lot of work. Here I really did kind of more of a bullet journal style where I just divided up the page into 4 pieces, one for each day. I did the day of the week, Monday through Thursday, and then to tie it into this Christmas tree spread, did little doodles of Christmas trees over here, and that's where I put the days of the month in there using my white gel pen. And as you can see, talk about simple journaling, literally just a sticker that says "Less Monday, more summer," and my journaling for that day was, today was a new level of boring, I edited a video and journaled. Done. That's all I needed to say about that day. I can't tell you what I did beyond that on July 30th, but clearly I didn't think it really mattered because it wasn't a very eventful day. So just goes to show that journaling can be amazingly complex and just full of amazing abiding memories that you want to cherish forever. And it can also just be a reflection of some days are just average days. And all of them, regardless of whether they are incredibly special to you or just little moments in life, are beautiful because it is your life. So I hope you enjoyed this flip through, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in learning more about how to explore your own abiding creativity, maybe learning some different techniques that you can use in your journal, like hand lettering, doodling, painting, etc., then be sure to check out Skillshare. I have the link down below for you so that you can get your free 2 months on Skillshare and start taking classes right away to gain the skills that you want to learn to work in your journal and make all of your memories abiding. So I hope you guys enjoyed this chatty journal with me, got to sit down maybe with a cup of tea and just hang out with me for a little while and reflect on some happy memories in my life, and maybe it inspired you to go back into your own journal and record your memories as well. So I hope you have an amazing day full of abiding joy, love, and creativity. Thank you so much for watching and being a part of our family.